So we've got a little bit more meat on the bones for Nightingale here. This is from the article thegamer.com. I will leave a link to this article down in the pinned comments if you want to go and read it at your own leisure. Starts off, when Nightingale was revealed during the Game Awards in 2021, it instantly shot to my most anticipated list. The up-and-coming survival crafting game will be a debut from Inflection Games, a studio founded by BioWare veterans and led by ex-BioWare General Manager Aaron Flynn. Nightingale takes place in a 19th century-inspired world where groups of explorers known as realm walkers use a network of portals to travel between customizable procedurally generated worlds. I briefly touched on this in my video after the embargo a couple of days ago, but this does go into a little bit more detail which wasn't made aware to me at the time. I sat down with Flynn this weekend, Summer Game Fest, play days, events in Los Angeles to talk about how Nightingale both conforms and pushes against the established survival crafting conventions. One of Nightingale's contributions to the game genre is aforementioned ability to travel between realms, aka realm diving, while most survival games take place on a large open world map with separate biomes to explore. Each biome in Nightingale is entirely a new world with their own unique environments, resources, and threats. I did touch on that slightly in my video. This week, Inflections revealed the realm card system that will allow players to control specific features of each realm, including weather, time of day, and the specific challenges you'll face within them. The more realm cards you play, the harder it's going to get in there. Flynn explains you have to balance that against the challenges you want. Now, that wasn't made aware to me, so this is new. So the more cards you use, still the amount of cards is up in the air, which is going to be used. But yeah, so the more cards you use, the harder it's going to get, which kind of makes sense, let's be honest. Realm card recipes are either found by exploring or earned by completing quests, and once obtained can be used to craft a new realm to explore. Exploration isn't the only objective of the card system though. Flynn offers one example of a dye recipe that requires a specific mushroom that only blooms in one biome at night when it's raining. Every biome has its own unique resource, and realm diving via realm cards is how you find them. The realm cards define the characteristics of each realm, which are entirely procedurally generated. Realms of the same biome type may end up looking alike though. They'll be similar, there's only so much we can change, Flynn says. But even if you and I played the same exact realm cards, it would be unlikely that we would get the exact same realm. Now, this is the problem with totally procedurally generated. It can look dog crap in some instances. I don't mind procedurally generated like weather, so if you use a card or like to affect the weather or like the animals or loot or something like that. But when you're procedurally generating land, I haven't seen a perfect example of procedurally generated land yet. Even No Man's Sky can't even get that dialed in properly. But yeah, I'm not 100% personally on board with the procedurally generated land, but I like weather and stuff like that. I'm down with, but sometimes handcrafted can just be good. Flynn says that the players will be free to explore realms at their own pace and travel between them when they choose, but there's also an overarching storyline with NPCs to meet and quests to complete. It's breadcrumbing, it's meant to motivate you through your adventure, he says. It's not a big cinematic story, but it's meant to give you some objectives, some goals, and some opportunities for rewards. Realm diving puts a wrinkle in the standard survival crafting formula, but the team seems to have found some solutions for the traditional genre tropes. For example, Flynn says that players will be able to build new bases in each realm as they go, or travel back to the realm of their home base, which are called respite realms. You can always change your designated respite realm too. If you happen to stumble across a place that would make a more suitable base location than your current one, realms made with more higher level realm cards will be significantly more difficult places to build your base, but the trade-off is easier to access, better rewards and more valuable resources. Makes sense. There were some things Flynn wasn't ready to talk about just yet. There will be some form of character progression, but he couldn't say whether that would be represented by skill trees and stat points. We do know that gear progression and crafting will be a big part of Nightingale's gameplay loop. Flynn says there will be a variety of weapons and armor pieces to craft with your hard-earned materials, and rarer materials will make better equipment. So if you watch my weapons and tools video, obviously I allude to that just from what I've seen in the trailers myself. So I went through the weapons, I went through the tools. Obviously that can still change as it's all still being tested. I will leave a link down that in the pinned comments as well, actually. You can't have a survival crafting game without survival, but Flynn says things like hunger and thirst meters won't impose significantly. It's not hard to it's not a hardcore survival game. We've simplified a lot of that, he says, but certainly there should be environmental pressures and that feeling of character management that is so important to survival games. Nightingale can be played either solo or in a group. The studio has previously described it as a shared world, but don't think of it like an Ark or Rust, which have persistent servers filled with dozens of other players. When you log out of Nightingale, your realm freezes until the next time you log in. You don't have to worry about a creature destroying your base when you're offline, and there aren't any PvP elements either. So no PvP whatsoever. That will alienate some people, but you know, for people like me who just enjoys exploring, building, you know, and all that kind of stuff, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't think every survival game should have PvP in it. Personally, I always think there should be an option, but I'm quite happy if it's not. I don't think this survival games kind of would fit the whole PvP narrative, unlike Rust or something like that. If you've shared your realm with friends, Flynn says everyone will be able to log in and play whenever they want, even if you're not online there. So yeah, so that's cool. So if you share the realm with see if I shared it with like my YouTube members and Twitch subscribers, they'd be able to log in, continue playing and all of that good stuff. So that's great news. I was actually quite worried. So hopefully in the future we'll get information, maybe dedicated servers or something. Last year's reveal trailer showed off another one of Nightingale's unique features, the ability to find non-combat ways to handle monsters. Last year's reveal also showed off one of Nightingale's unique features, the ability to find non-combat ways to handle monsters. The forest giant that intends to stomp your base to bits can be quelled by giving it a gift. For example, Flynn elaborated on a system explaining that while some monsters still need to be dealt with the old-fashioned way, the studio was also interested in disrupting the non-stop violence players are also used to. We just want options for players to feel like they're not just this giant murder fest, which is fair enough. He says, for every interaction not to be about slaughtering something, we want non-combat opportunities as much as possible. Just give players choice and reflect what you think is important to the player. A diversity of options. So you can either trade with the giants or smash their faces in. That's the TLDR there. Flynn can't say for sure if a total pacifist playthrough is possible. I don't think, but I don't know for sure if you're ever actually required to kill something. He says, that's a little bit odd. I don't know why you'd just come out and say that. You're gonna have to kill something because you're gonna have to get realm cards and stuff like that. So I find that weird. When they made Dark Souls, I assume they assumed you would fight your way through it, but then someone found a way to do a no-hit run. I think comparing this to Dark Souls is like kind of a little odd. I think we might be like that, but I don't know. I'm kind of wondering. I'll have to ask the team. Yeah, I'd pretty much put money on you're gonna have to kill something at some point, irregardless, even if it's like a little squirrel or something stupid like that. Nightingale is a game about connecting realms through a network of magical portals. Nightingale launches on Steam Early Access later this year. So that was a little bit more meat on the bones from this article by Eric Switzer from thegamer.com. Pretty good article, a lot more information, a bit more meat on the bones, if anything, for Nightingale. So it's got on the article, launches on Steam Early Access later this year. We're like halfway through the year now, so we don't have that long to go, hopefully. So let's just hope it doesn't get pushed back or anything like that. Anyways, yeah, let me know down in the comments if this shed any more light on it for you. I'm Fortizar, and I'll see you all in the next video.